The making of the movie was stressful because we were all stressed. You know, we had to go and create this incredible anxiety and tension. But the important thing here is to get it right somehow and not take this story that's not about what we're talking about and reshape things so it's some brand of editorializing on our part. I think that's a sin. Otherwise, you got to take what really happened and figure out how to make that dramatic, as opposed to just saying, well, that's not a dramatic enough. Let's change it to our own purposes. I don't see any reason to call it Captain Phillips if it's going to be a movie like that. Knowing full well that, you know, there were going to be moments compressed and I was going to say and do things that he really didn't do, there is a truth to it that you have to go for. And I saw Rich not too long ago, and I said, so, what do you think? And he said, looked familiar to me, so I'll take that. Just asking him how afraid he was of these pirates, you know, the hijackers, how much he worried about his own life. He said, look, there's a number of ways of worrying about your life. One is when you are in a hurricane at sea that may break your ship in two. That's one kind of fearing for your life. Another is when there's a fire on board in the engine room and you can't get your crew out of there. That's another way of worry for your life. In this regard, he always had some brand of knowledge that he could play. He always had some sense of self, and he always had an interaction that he could fall back on, sometimes with the hijackers himself, that did not make it as scary to him deep inside his merchant mariner's soul as I think it would be being trapped in a hurricane in the middle of the Pacific. We had seen guys that looked like Somalis, you know, around the shoot, but we didn't know who they were. And yeah, when they finally did come in, it was a very long scene. It wasn't just like 30 seconds and we were done. It went on for 5 or 6 minutes. And yeah, not often does the hair stand up on the back of your head when you're making a movie in a realistic way, just based on what people look like when they come see it.
They were events that were so dramatic and so many twists and turns. That was actually the biggest problem. I mean, there were tremendous challenges logistically about filming on the ocean and how to do that, but they really weren't the profound challenges. But the biggest challenges were the challenges of how to stay true to the story and tell the essence of it, but when compressing it. When you start this film, you know there's going to be a scene that's going to be a big scene in the film when the pirates come through the door of the bridge and take over the ship. And the pirate leader comes face to face with Richard Phillips, Tom Hanks. That's going to be a very big moment in the movie. And I wanted that moment to have as much punch, as much electricity, as much conviction as I possibly could. So I just kept them apart from each other so they'd never seen each other. We kept them in separate hotels. We rehearsed separately. And then that scene that you see in the movie, that's it. That was literally the first time they ever saw each other. And it was, it gave, you know, the whole set kind of crackled with excitement, you know. But obviously when you're directing something like that, you're sort of betting the house on it, you know. But so I was moderately nervous, actually intensely nervous, but it paid off. What you find out is the story of seafaring through, you know, for hundreds of years. It's a hard life. It's a calling, you know. These guys do it, and it's the only life they know. And you face danger at every turn. Might be the weather one day. In this instance, it was modern-day pirates. But you have to be resourceful and stick together and somehow try and find a way through. You know, that's the seafarer's way, I think.
Working with great legends like Tom Hanks and Paul Greengrass is just beyond everything that I ever asked for and beyond everything even I dreamed for.
I did little Somali short films, and being in this movie, which is big production, was, you know, one thing that to do and to put all my effort, all my thing I can do, you know, all the imagination that I can put it and all the hard work was all that I can do.
Yeah, it pays off.
It paid off.
It paid off.
Besides the fact that I haven't met Tom until the first scene of the movie, you know, it was always, you know, work and, you know, just have to get up there, you know, because I was an actor and I was given a big part. So I had to do my best to prove that I can do it. The director was also my teacher, you know, and he would just help me. He would calm me in a lot of ways, and he would tell me that specific moment what I need.
We shot on the USS Truxtun. Well, here's the thing. I mean, the thing about that, you know, Paul does, as I'm sure you know, is that there's only a few actors amongst people who really do that job. So, in the command room, in the war room of the ship that I'm on, just being another actor. Everybody else is like the real guy who does that. It's an extra added responsibility that you don't have when you're playing a fictional character and you have all this freedom to basically do anything you want, because there was no real guy. This is a different situation. And the real guy that I play is here tonight. He's amazing. Yeah, he's an amazing guy. And I met his family, and I met him when we were shooting, and I met his children, and you get to see a human, you know, and he's, you know, a human who was put in a very difficult situation.
I had always told my crew it was a matter of when, not if, so we had the procedures that we had practiced and knew, so I was hoping that they would indeed work. They had worked the day before when we avoided a situation, and I was just relying on our training to maintain us. Unfortunately, it didn't, and they'd get the radio announcement over the handheld of Pirates Aboard, which began a slippery 12-hour slope on the Maersk, Alabama. I was there just viewing it as a movie. It's not a docudrama, it's a movie, and I was interested in seeing, making sure they were somewhat accurate and portrayed a situation that it was, and I think they did a very good job doing that. Some of the situations were very lifelike, and really the Somali actors playing the Somali pirates were very lifelike. They really brought it to me just in their face and their eyes. It was very realistic.